All right, and we should be live. Let me refresh this one and make sure we're live. Okay, and make sure my volume's off. And hi, everybody. We're live. How's everybody tonight? And let's see. Bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to get my computer ready here. Okay. I'm Val, and that's Steve. And up in the corner over there is Sock, and over there is Troy. And we're
America.
I hear a commercial in the background. Val.
I'm sorry?
I hear a commercial in the background about a cruise.
A commercial in the background?
About a cruise? I don't hear nothing.
There you go.
I'll take a cruise. We just finalized our cruise.
Hello, everybody. Live in 60 seconds.
Well, you better refresh it. But we're going to just have fun tonight. We've got Troy and Sock in here, and we're going to be answering some questions about, there we go, about Marine Corps. We're all Marines, right? So we're going to answer like just some fun Marine Corps questions. If anybody in the chat is former anything, a veteran or active military, and wants to be in this discussion just to have fun, let me know. And the link is in the chat. So just get the link and come backstage, and I will put you on the screen. So we have in the house already Miss Adventure, which is Troy, Adventure America's better half, and she's Angela in the chat. We have Todd Saw, and we have Chris from Ari's World. Is there anybody else? Steve's here. I think that's all that's come in, right?
That's all so far. We got Todd.
Yeah, let me know if I. Yeah, Todd, I have your question that you posed to me earlier on the paper. So we'll be doing the questions. Are you all ready to start?
Sure.
All right. So we hopefully more people will come in. We have 6 watching, I guess. All right. Question number 1. How old were you when you joined the Marine Corps? And this kind of was started by Todd, because Todd sent a question to me through one of my videos, and then I just added some more questions to it. So this is kind of Todd's fault. So if you want to, like get back at anybody, Todd would be your guy.
I know where he lives.
Okay. There you go. Revenge. So did I say hi to you guys? Hi, Sock.
Hi, Val. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Troy.
Hi, Troy.
Hello, everyone.
So who wants to answer first? We'll put Sock on the stage first.
So I enlisted when I was 18, and I turned 18 at the very end of the year. I did do a deferred enlistment so I could get my partying out of the way. So I deferred until April. Yeah, but I enlisted in like January 1st or 2nd in 1972.
Okay. And Troy?
I actually enlisted when I was 16 years old as a junior in high school. I was on the delayed entry program for 2 years. And originally I was supposed to go motor T and ended up going open contract because they didn't have any openings for motor T, and got put in aviation.
Okay.
Fixed wing or rotary wing?
Rotary wing. I was in HMLA 167. It's a Marine Light Attack Helicopter Squadron 167.
Okay. Well, CH-50.
Don't get too far ahead of me now, because I have questions. You'll have to stick to the question asked.
All right.
All right. No, you're good. Told you this is just for fun. I'm writing down because Chris from Ari's World has a question, so I'm writing his down here too, and I'll get that question in there. All right. So this is hard because I got two computers that I'm playing with here. Okay. So I enlisted when I was 17 years old, and I was still in a senior in high school, and women had to have a high school degree at that time in 1979 to be able to join the Marine Corps. So I finished out and graduated high school, and I went into the Marine Corps on July. I graduated in June, late June, and went into the Marine Corps on the 3rd of July, the day before Independence Day.
Thanks.
That same year. So what about you?
I was drafted.
Yeah, right.
I joined when I was 19. I went into boot camp in February and graduated in May or April. I don't remember which month it was.
All right. So I'm trying.
So I should say I turned 19
I
when I
don't know
was
if it's one of your questions, but where did you all go to boot camp at?
Paris Island.
Paris Island.
Troy?
I went to San Diego.
So I enlisted in Denver. I was supposed to go to San Diego, and two of us unknowingly volunteered to go fill an empty spot, and I went to Paris Island in South Carolina as well.
Ooh.
That was my first volunteer that I didn't volunteer. So
You were voluntold.
learning the system early. Yep.
So when I was in boot camp, we had I had a birthday in boot camp, but there's somebody before me who got a package from home, and it was I guess he got a package of cookies, and he snuck in the hooch at night, and he ate his chocolate chip cookies, and he just gave him a hard time, and the drill instructors gave him a hard time and made an example of him. So I wrote home a letter to my parents and says, do not, whatever you do not send me anything for my birthday.
And Chris from Nature Dog Realms is here. And we have Kevin from Hiking with Jackie Boy. Hi, and welcome in. We're just having a little Marine Corps discussion here. And if you have questions, throw them in the chat. We're going to try to get through some of these questions that Todd sent us. So the first question, let's see. We're going to put Sock on the stage, I guess, and let him go first. Oh, I got to figure out how to do this again. All right. The first question is, what led you to join the Marine Corps? What were you thinking at the time? And why did you choose the Marine Corps? That's Todd's questions.
Okay, so I was kind of I had already kind of predetermined when I was younger that I wanted to go in the Marine Corps, and the reason for that was the influence of my uncle Albert. He was in the Marine Corps, and that's cool uncles, but as far as the coolest goes, Albert was probably my uncle Albert was my uncle, and he came home. He got out in 1963, almost 64, just before we went in Vietnam. I think we went to Vietnam in April or May of what we had advisors in there before, but I think we went in April or May of 85. And so he got out just before that, just a little bit the year before that took place. But he stopped. We lived in Denver, and he stopped on the way home. And we went and picked him up at the airport at Stapleton International, and that was back then. Is when they didn't have the chutes and all that stuff. They rolled the stairs up, and everybody walked down the stairs, right? And he came off. He was in his fatigues, and it was just like, yeah, I want to do that. So that, and when that happened, I think I was somewhere in the neighborhood. Let's see, I could do math, but I don't want to do math. Anyway, I was probably in 5th grade, maybe, I think. So right around there. And so that kind of made the impression on me. And then it kind of went away for a little while. And then we moved around a lot. My dad was a pilot and did other different things. So I went to 23 different schools growing up. So even to this day, it's hard for me to remember people's names because I don't pay attention. I don't it doesn't. I don't register it. So I was not doing. I was doing okay in school, but I wasn't doing well, and I didn't want to be there. And I'm like, you know what? I'm coming up to be 18 years old. I can make a decision, and I think that's what I want to do. And at the time, Vietnam was still going on, but we were already working toward de-escalation a little bit. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go for it. So I did, and I'm glad I did.
So how many years was your uncle in?
My uncle was in for 4.
Yeah.
And he was in the Marines?
He was in the Marine Corps, yes.
Was
So
was
that-
that after the Korean War?
Yeah, it was after the Korean War and before Vietnam. He was in the. He went
So
in.
is that why you chose Marine Corps, because of him?
Yes. My brother went in the Air Force the previous year, the year before I did, and but no, the Marine Corps was my choice. And
Nothing in your head said anything else, right? Just
I
Marine Corps.
talked to no other recruiters. I went into the recruiter's office and said that I want to sign up.
Nice. Well, Grandma Lynn is in the chat too. She came in a few minutes back. So hi, Grandma Lynn. Good to see you.
NDR's here. Hi, NDR. Hi, hiking with Jackie Boy.
Yeah, saw them. All right, Troy, I think you're next here. We'll pull you over to on the screen there.
All right. The reason I went into the Marine Corps, and actually my brother, he joined the Navy about 2 years prior to me going into the Marine Corps, and he's retired. He spent 20 years in. The reason I went into the Marine Corps really is because I knew it was the most challenging one that I could go to. And I've always been up for challenging myself. So originally I had thought about going in the Navy, but then after I had looked into it, I decided to go into the Marine Corps. And I went into the Marine Corps in 1995. But I was in between after Desert Storm and ended and before Iraqi freedom began.
Okay.
Sorry.
So how many years were you in?
4 years.
4? Okay. And what did you do, Sock?
So I was an anti-tank assault. I was in weapons battalion, 0351. My MOS was 0351.
Okay. But how many years did you do?
3.
Oh, okay. And
what did Troy do?
4. No, I haven't got there yet. Hi, busy lady. Busy lady's in the chat. Good to see you tonight.
You just skipped a question. Never mind.
Huh?
Never mind.
Huh?
Nothing. Go. Keep going. Roll.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
So you just chose because you wanted a challenge, right?
That's the main reason I chose the Marine Corps.
Okay. All right. Steve, you're up.
I'm up.
He's up. Spotlight on Steve.
What led me to join the Marine Corps? Well, my father was a Marine. And then when I turned 18, I wanted to do something. I tried to go into college for 1 semester, and I was tired of school. So I decided I wanted to go get a different experience and get away from home. So I joined the Marine Corps.
All right. And Barry Barry's in. Hi, Barry Barry. So why did you choose Marine Corps? You could have joined the Navy. In the Navy.
There was no other branch of service that had any interest for me.
You could
besides
sail the
Marine
7
Corps.
seas.
You can still sail the 7 seas because you are part of the Department of Navy when you're in the Marine Corps.
That's true. All right. Well, I was always a tomboy, and I was thinking of joining the Navy for probably a couple of years in high school. I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just join the Navy. And then I had a friend that joined the Marine Corps, and I had his cousin was like the girl, my best friend back at the time that we hung out. And so she was like, well, he said we should join the Marine Corps. So it was kind of like he's kind of daring us to join the Marine Corps. So, I got to do something on a dare. I was kind of crazy back then. And so I kind of joined on a dare. And she and I went in together on the delayed entry program. And she didn't make it. But I stuck with it and made it through anyway. And ended up down in Camp Lejeune. But yeah, I did it kind of. I wanted to get away from home. I, was kind of a little troubled childhood, but and I knew I wanted to go somewhere, but I was thinking Navy all along, and then kind of Marine Corps got thrown at me. So I just said, well, what the heck? I'm in for a challenge. I'll do it. And Jeff is here from Calvin, the Boston Terriers. Hi, Jeff. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.
And thank you, Grandma Lynn, for telling everybody to give me a big thumbs up, and Steve and Troy and Sock. I know. She said, give it, please, thumbs up. That's what she said. All right. So thank you, Todd, for those questions. Those were good questions. The next one is, what was your MOS? Did it require school? And where did you go to school for your MOS? Oh, Doc, you want to go first?
Sure.
All right. Let me put you back on stage.
So I did I was put into weapons out of boot camp. I did make meritorious PFC out of boot camp, so that helped a little bit. And then I went to weapons battalion, weapons training from Parris Island. I went to Camp Pendleton for our weapons training, and that took, I think that was about a 2.5-3 month training, initial training for my MOS, which was 0351, which is anti-tank assault.
Todd's asking what an MOS is in civilian language.
Occupational,
yeah.
Service.
Military occupational what? I don't know what the S is.
It's your job. An MOS is whatever your job is.
Yes,
basically.
That's what they train you for. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did my training there. Our 3 weapons were the 106 recoilless rifle, the 3.5 rocket launcher, and the old tank type flamethrower. So the weapons training was cool. It was fun. And yeah, so it's, the weapons are not, and when you're in the field, are not a great, back then were not a great place to be, like machine gunners. Automatic weapons are the first weapons when you're assaulted that people go after and they target, and same with armor and stuff. So anyway, I was 0351. They have since retired that MOS. It's no longer around. I think they retired it in the 90s. I'd have to look and see when that happened.
Did you pick that, or did they give that to you?
They gave it to me just like they gave me my volunteer to Parris Island.
Oh, I gotcha. They just throwed you wherever they wanted to throw you.
So it's military occupational
so
specialty was a 0351?
Was yours
0351?
Yeah. All right. So that's military occupational specialty.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I kind of knew that they probably wouldn't know what an MOS was, but that was the easiest thing for me to write on my paper. All right. Troy.
All right, my MOS was a 6154 sheet metal and hydraulics on Cobras and Hueys. It took 2 different schools. I went to Milton, Tennessee for A school, which is your basic aircraft aviation school. I took sheet metal hydraulics there. And then I went to Camp Pendleton for my C school, which is aircraft specific, which was Cobras and Hueys. And altogether, it took me about, from the time I went to boot camp to the time I actually arrived at my first duty station was about a year.
Wow. Okay, so where was your school? Oh, you just said that. Where was your duty station?
It was in New River Air Station, which is just across from Camp Lejeune.
Yeah, I know New
All right.
River.
So were you there before 1987?
No, I joined the Marine Corps in 1995.
Okay.
And what year did SOC join?
72.
1972.
Okay. 72. And I was 79 and you were when?
83.
83. Okay. We're the old folks. All right. Did he get all of that? Did you pick your MOS or was it given to you?
No, actually, I had signed up for Motor T, and that's the reason I only spent 4 years in, because 6154 aviation usually requires 6 years contract. But since I was originally chose Motor T and went in an open contract, I ended up just spending 4 years in.
Okay. And did both of you keep your same MOS the whole time you were in?
Yes.
Not I kept the same MOS, but I had a secondary of 0100. I actually did admin for a little while, unit diary clerk.
Okay.
Yeah, when I was when I was in about 2.5 years, actually about a little over a year and a half, 2 years. They had just started the unit diary, which is back then, obviously we didn't have the computers. They had big computers in the record center in Kansas City. And so they had a form. They were just doing the transition. So everything that was in your service record book was also transcribed over on the unit diary, and then was put on the computer records in Kansas City. So I did that for a little while, and it was kind of cool. Got me out of having to go to the field 6 days a week and in Okinawa. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. All right, Steve, you're on.
What question are we on?
What was your MOS? Did you pick it or was it given to you? Did it require school and where did you go?
I was a 6113 and I did pick it. After boot camp, I went to Millington, Tennessee,
You didn't say what it was though. You just said a number.
CH-53 Alpha Delta helicopter maintenance. So I went to Millington, Tennessee. And then from Millington, Tennessee, I went to Tustin, California, Ruston and Tustin, which has been since I've been stationed there. They've shut it down, and everything has been moved to Miramar, which I guess is San Diego area. I was thinking that I would be able to do something that I could use when I got out. But they didn't tell me until after I was getting ready to get out. Oh, by the way, you can't work on aircraft in the civilian world unless you have this particular license. So there was no prep for that. And I did have to sign a 6-year contract, 4 years active, and then 2 years were inactive, ready reserve.
So you picked it. Did you keep the same MOS the same all the time you ran?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if I had a secondary. I mean, I was a collateral duty inspector, but I don't know if that constituted secondary MOS or not.
We lost SOC.
He ran away.
All right, try again, Stock. I just kicked you out. Try again. Hi, Fran Dash. Fran Dash is in the house.
Hello, Francis.
All right, my MOS was 1142. I was EER, electrical equipment repairman, which was basically generators. We would hook up electrical for camps if the battalion or whoever went out into the field. We would climb the poles and run the wires to the generators to provide electricity to the camps. My school was in Courthouse Bay in Camp Lejeune on the far side of Camp Lejeune. I had school was, I think, 6 to 9 months, somewhere in there. And then I ended up on Main side. I didn't pick my MOS. It was given to me because I scored high on the AFAB test, whatever the test was for in math. So they gave it to me because I had high math scores. And I kept it through most of my duty there. And I switched over to Motor T for a little while because for the last few months that I was in, because they were trying to, their records were all messed up, their record system in Motor T. And there was a staff sergeant over there that knew I was kind of an organized person. So he asked me if I would go over, drop the link again, if I would go over to help them, straighten out their records. So there you go, Sock. I just dropped it again for you. Oops, there it is. So I ended up going over to Motor T and working in the office there, trying to get their files straight.
All right. So
you wonder what Motor T means?
Jeff wants to know from Calvin, the Boston Terrorist, wants to know how realistic is the opening scene of Full Metal Jacket to actual Marine boot camp? Troy, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, he already said he would.
I will answer that one. And as far as the rifle scene goes, you do have live fire ammunition when you're in second phase of boot camp, doing rifle range and stuff like that. And honestly, like the way the scene played out, that wouldn't have happened because as soon as you're done, they take all that away. It could possibly happen on the rifle range, but and this is kind of a dark part that I don't really talk much about, but whenever I was in first phase of boot camp there in San Diego, there is a 3-story barracks there, and somebody actually committed suicide by jumping off the 3rd story.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's definitely a mind game. How about you, Sock?
Yeah, it was as far as the drill instructors being in your face and some of the stupid crap they had us do. Yeah, it was pretty realistic at the first part. I agree with Troy as far as the rifle part goes and being able to get the ammunition in there. But Marine Corps boot camps changed over the years, and it was different for me than when my uncle was in, and I'm sure it was different for you guys than when I was in, and it's way different now. But it was pretty harsh, but I was ready for it. I wanted to go in. Back then, they were still, like Steve mentioned, they were drafting people. There were people there that didn't want to be there when I was going in, and there were people there that had deferred minor sentences, but deferred legal issues that their choice was go into the military service or go to jail. So there were a lot of people who didn't want to be there. I did. So
there was a guy in our platoon that had the choice of going to jail or joining the service, and he punched me in the face one day.
Oh no. Yeah.
He got in a lot of trouble for it, but he didn't realize who was standing behind him, and he was just mad and swinging, and he caught me. So he got in some trouble, but they said he was troubled to start with, that he had that choice of either joining the Marine Corps or going to jail. So
yeah, I think Mr. Emery did a good job as far as that. We had so when you go into boot camp, when I went into boot camp, I'm pretty sure it's probably the same for you guys. We had 2 drill instructors, and then we had a senior drill instructor.
Yeah.
The senior drill instructor he didn't treat you differently, but he was more of he went in your face all the time.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. So
no, I'm just saying hi. National Park Princess is in the chat, so we say hi to her. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. But the senior drill instructor wasn't there all the time, and we went through a couple of different drill instructors throughout process. And I looked for a couple of them after, but I could never find them. We would
You still remember their names?
Drill Instructor Sergeant Fortney. If I had ever crossed paths with him, we would have had a little discussion, I think. And then we had Drill Instructor Sergeant Fortney, and then I have to think a minute. It'll come to me in a minute. I remember Fortney for something he did to me.
I remember because I went in with another female and we kind of looked alike, that
Yep.
they would yell at her but call my name. Like they would be correcting her for something but using my name. And I was like, man, I'm not doing anything wrong, but I'm gonna write it on my record and it's her doing the stuff, you know?
Yeah. But it was very rigid when we were in, we didn't, I remember my brother being in basic training, and they had weekends. They could go, he was in the Air Force. They could go do things on the weekends. And it was not like that in Marine Corps boot camp. It was 24/7 the whole time you were there. The only lax time at all was Sunday if you went to church. And if you didn't go to church, you were doing other things that you weren't farting around. You were doing something structured. And it's just, it was just it was all the time, 24/7. And every morning the trash cans getting thrown down through the squad bay and them screaming and it was a deal.
Honestly, I think that's the hardest part as far as boot camp goes. It's more mental than it is physical, really.
Yeah. And there's a lot of physicalities to it, but
yeah, there is.
But if you want to be there, it's a whole different game than if you didn't want to be. And there were a lot of guys that didn't want to be there. So
it's like when you are in like boot camp, you might sleep like 3 to 4 hours a night.
Yep.
And then the rest of the time you're up like doing PT, doing classes. Even sometimes you have night watch where you'd have to get up in the middle of the night and.
Yep, I did the fire watch. Drill Instructor Sergeant Fortney was my other one. They're coming to me.
And Betty's here from Retirement Day, so I say hi to Betty.
Hello, Betty.
Hey, Betty.
Todd is saying, did the DI give you nicknames like Private Joker or Private Pile or Cowboy?
They were a little different. Some of them were non-repeatable. So there were some guys that got, but not fun names. No.
Yeah, I don't remember any name called.
They always just called us by our last name.
Yeah, we were called by our last name. Chris is asking, what is this? Chris from Ari's World is asking, what is a skill that you learned that you still use? So, since I can't blow up tanks in civilian life and do that kind of stuff, I think, the discipline discipline is one of the big things that I learned, and teamwork and being able to work with others and do and work things out, problem solving and stuff like that. That type of training that I got in the Marine Corps was very helpful for me. I changed a lot from my pre-Marine Corps days and then after. I still partied after and stuff, but there was a big change from when I before I went in, and so it was a good thing for me. Yeah.
For me, I still work in aviation, military aviation, so that's what I've been doing for 31 years now. And actually, that's the reason I got out after 4 years, is because I had an opportunity to work for Raytheon Aerospace, and from there, it's just continuously gone for the last 31 years now.
So did you get your A&P license before you got out?
I don't need an A&P working on military aircraft.
No.
Only time you need an A&P is working civilian aircraft.
Yeah, you're lucky. Look, you're lucky that you fell into that.
Yeah.
What about you?
What about me? What?
Good question. A skill that you learned that you still use, from Chris.
Skill that I learned that I still use. I learned not to volunteer for anything unless I really wanted to. And the story behind that one is we were sitting out at ICT, Infantry Combat Training, and they had us sitting in the woods. It was dark. We were all sitting down in orderly fashion, and the mosquitoes were just tearing us up. They came and we said, "We're looking for 2 volunteers." I didn't hesitate. I jumped up and I went to go do what they wanted. They wanted us to dig the fire pit. So while I was digging the fire pit, throwing the dirt, the next thing I know, I hear dirt hitting paper. Come to find out, I threw dirt on the drill instructor as he was looking at his mail. So that didn't go very well. But that's what I learned. I learned not to volunteer. I mean, yeah, the discipline and being able to, yeah, that's all good stuff too. But
yeah. I mean, I learned electrical stuff that, you know, I can still use it, but choose not to. But I mean, with me, teamwork, I've never been any place besides the military that understands what teamwork really is. They say we are a team and we work with teamwork, but they don't really. They don't understand.
And you don't have a high probability unless you do something really stupid to get fired in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah. So Todd had asked earlier in here about, did it get easier at the end of boot camp? I think that was his question.
Yeah, I think so.
So for me, they started treating you more when you first go in. It's a total tear down.
Yeah.
They want to, I mean, and it starts with shaving your head off, you know, like you saw in the movie, and
that's true.
In your face all the time, and it's just, you can't do anything right, even it doesn't matter how hard you try. You may be doing it right, but you're not doing it right, and so there's this whole period of ripping you down to not just conform, but for you, so everybody is the same, and then you have the opportunity to start working your way back up, and it changes as you get as it goes through. It did for me, and then, you know, and there's goals, there's things you can work for. There's 4 squad leaders, you know. There was, in our platoon, there were and you had the guidon, you know, the bearer, the guidon bearer. I don't remember what they called him. He was always in front, and then you didn't want to be back. You wanted to work your way from the back of the line to the front. And if you were what they called a shitbird, you were at the back of the line. You were the one. We had a dummy in boot camp. We got about 2/3 of the way through, and it was just a dummy Marine. It had boots. And the guys in the back had to drag that dummy along. Every night they had to spit shine his boots, and they had to do all this extra stuff. So you wanted to work your way up. I became a squad leader at the rifle range because I qualified as an expert, and the guy that was our squad leader qualified as a rifleman, I think. And so they moved him back, and I moved up, and I got to stay there from that point on. So it changed a little bit. It was a progression, and then they work you up to a point, and from my experience, that it got better. And as we went through boot camp, the senior drill instructor had more talks with us and working with us, but they build you up to that point where you go to graduation and they call you a Marine first time. And so it changed, but it's not a drastic change. But if you go back and look at it from hindsight, it's like it is a pretty drastic change of how they were treating you on day one, the first 2-3 weeks of boot camp, and at the end of boot camp.
Right. And that was Jeff's question. I'm sorry, I said it was Todd's question, but it was Jeff's.
Hiking with Jackie Boy wants to know, what are some of the deployments any of you had?
So I was never deployed into a combat anywhere. I had duty station in Okinawa. We went on float while I was in Okinawa. I was on the USS San Bernardino LSD 1189, which has been mothballed since then too. But it's a flat bottom ship. It's the ones you've seen, the big. It's got the big superstructure in the middle, and they park a bunch of. It's a landing ship, is what it is, and it has the big arms off the front that the front of the ship will drop down. They can drive off. Basically, in a landing situation, they'll just beach it, and they drive all the equipment off. And by the time they get all the Marines off and all the equipment off, it's floating again, and they can back out and leave. So very uncomfortable the first few days being at sea. But we went to Korea and went on maneuvers with the Korean Marines for about 4 days up there. And then we went to Subic Bay, and then we sailed around. Excuse me. Those are the only 2 ports that we made. Actually, we didn't even make port in Korea.
I'll answer the last 2 questions as far as the boot camp goes and the deployment. I never got a chance to deploy. When I was in a non-deployable squadron, and like what Steve was saying, he worked on the CH-53s and the CH-53s and the CH-46s were the deployable squadrons. So, in order for us to deploy, we had to go with either the CH-46s or the CH-53s. I never got a chance to do so because we always had the same people going. But as far as boot camp goes, they break it down into 3 phases. You got first, second, and third phase. And the first and second phase is really tough. They really mentally break you down. Once you get into the third phase, they start like lightening up and taking it more easy on you. And because that's to kind of get you ready to go to, graduate boot camp and then go into the Marine Corps.
Okay. And you?
And me. Well, they won't leave and let you go to third phase if you're not ready. They'll recycle you.
No, they won't.
Send you all the way back to first phase. But so I went TDY, temporary duty assignment, to Santa Barbara a couple of times. Went to New York City a couple of times. Decatur, Alabama, and Kansas City, and I think that's about it.
I pretty much stayed in Camp Lejeune because, it's so lovely there. I was given orders to Okinawa after about 3 years of being in. And then they found out that I was with child about 4 months. So they pulled those orders away from me because they won't send a female over there to have a child over there. So I ended up staying in Camp Lejeune because it's so lovely there. But no, I didn't go I was in Camp Lejeune the whole time.
Yeah, we did our boot camp training at Camp Lejeune. So
did you?
Yeah, that's the gas chamber that I was in. Was there?
Yeah, I did the gas chamber. I did the rifle range.
The gas chamber was fun, wasn't it?
The gas chamber was fun.
Yeah.
Almost as fun as Camp Lejeune.
I think the gas chamber in boot camp, they keep you in there a little bit longer than they do the gas chamber while you're in the fleet.
Yeah, and as long as it takes to sing the Marine Corps hymn properly with your mask off before you come out.
There you go. Yeah.
Your eyes are burning.
Yeah.
You hacking and puking, and
yeah, it's fun.
It does clear your sinuses out.
It did, yeah.
That's probably why I can't breathe. It just burned all my sinuses out.
But even doing that, I was like having fun.
Went to San Diego, Jeff.
I mean, it sucked, but I was having fun.
So Barry wants to know the funniest thing that ever happened to us during our service.
Ooh.
That's a no-brainer. That was when I threw dirt on the drill instructor when I was digging the fire pit.
So one of the funny things. So when you're in the boot camp, We had in the squad bay, we had our bunks. They had double bunks, and then you had your foot lockers in front of that. And then the length of the squad bay, they had 2 lines painted. So you would stand on the line whenever you were in the squad bay. When you came into the squad bay, you line up in front of your bunk on the line. We're facing the guys across from us. And there was this guy, was pretty animated, and it was a black guy. He was pretty animated, and he was in trouble a lot. But he was a cool dude. In fact, I ended up going when we went to Okinawa. We hung out quite a bit together there. But he was always getting in trouble, and then of course that got us in trouble. But they would do stuff to him that one night they had him. There was a big old water bug, the big old huge roach-looking things down there in South Carolina. One of the drill instructors tied thread around that thing's neck or head or whatever, and made that dude march it around the squad bay. We can't laugh, or you're gonna get, you don't want to get caught laughing. So whatever that bug was doing, that guy had to sing a cadence for it. Bug left face, and the whole thing. It was pretty funny, and the whole thing they were trying to do is to get us to laugh and get us all in trouble. But and there's another thing that happened, but I won't tell it here.
Yeah,
pretty funny too. So
yeah,
but that was funny.
Krubby the Beagle is in. Hi, Krubby. How are you?
As far as funny goes, I don't really know if it's funny, but like once a month we had to do squadron duty, which is a 24-hour duty. And then once a month we had to do barracks duty, which was 24-hour duty. And anybody that did any kind of, something bad had to be on, trying to think of what they call it. They were on like restricted duties. And you'd have to they would come in and have to do work on the weekends and stuff. So if you were working on the weekends, you'd have to find something for them to do. But we actually did have somebody chop down a power pole on New River Air Station over there. And it's just kind of a weird thing. He wasn't really, I guess he wasn't really right in the head or something.
Did he do that and then get in trouble, or did they?
He got in trouble for doing that.
Oh, okay. I got in trouble once in the Marine Corps. I don't even remember what I did. If I was late for class, it was while I was in school. I don't remember if I was falling asleep in class or I was late for class, but I know me and a couple other people ended up having to paint the inside of the classroom.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Well,
after class.
I will tell you this from stories that she has told me. If we ever do a meetup, hide your gnomes. If you have any gnomes in your yard, you need to hide them.
Hide your gnomes.
Can I tell the story?
You can.
I'll tell the story. But, after hours when you can go out and party and stuff, and I had some friends that were pretty crazy. And we would get in the car, which happened to be my car because I had a big Chrysler Newport at the time. And we would drive around the office barracks. And if they had lawn ornaments out, we would steal their lawn ornaments. And we would bring them back and put them in front of the enlisted barracks so they could get them in the morning. That was just something crazy we did. It wasn't like we weren't doing it to steal because it's not anything we wanted. It was just like a prank. We like to prank them. Yeah, we were just having fun. One of the guys that was like my partner in crime in there, he actually, Camp Lejeune has the water issues and people have cancer and stuff. He just passed away in January last year? January last? Has it been a year? He just passed away from leukemia last year. And Todd had asked in here, I think it was Todd that asked, do we stay in contact with any people that we knew in there? I have a girlfriend that her and I were, if one of us rounded a corner, the other one they knew was close behind. Well, I've stayed in contact with her since we've left the Marine Corps. She lives south of Chicago, and we always call each other on our birthdays, and she'll send me little stuff in my Facebook thing, little messages and stuff. And we still stay in contact. Well, I had lost contact with Andy, the guy that, we used to get in trouble with. And he contacted her, I guess found her and then got my number to contact me. So, because he wanted to talk to me. So before he passed. But yeah, really, Stacy's the only one that I kept in contact with. And Have Fun in Nature is in. Hi, Tiffany and Brian.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Tiffany and Brian.
So do you guys keep in touch with anybody from the service?
I don't have anybody that I do. It's just, being young like that. And my family is not very good about, it's not a discipline that I learned as far as keeping track of people and having an address book and stuff. If it was nowadays, of course I would, because it's so much easier, but I don't. There's some guys I would like to, if they're still around, I would like to look them up, but I've looked on Facebook and I can't find them.
Right.
I think you can go to the.
I actually have talked to some people in the last couple of years because the squadron I was in, Ace Line 167, they have a Facebook group, and I've talked to some people that I knew on that Facebook group.
That's cool.
I have not. I do not, and I have not.
And you won't.
Most likely not.
Damn it.
At least as likely as not.
So Angela wants to know, what's the best or worst thing that came from joining the Marine Corps?
It helped develop us into who we are today.
Yeah, it sure did.
It had a big hand in it, I think, for me. It's not that it was just kind of weird. I had moved out, I moved out of the house when I was 16 and lived out of the house with this other guy and his wife. I worked at the bowling alley and spent too much time bowling at night and not enough time studying, and just, it wasn't a good deal. So it worked out for me. And I really looked forward to getting in. So
It's that structure.
Huh?
I said it's that structure that they give you.
It is, and I don't know that I was looking forward to that particularly, but it's a byproduct of what, because there's sometimes that structure really sucked, but that's what makes it a structure, right? Is you do those things, and I lucked out as far as that goes, not having to do any combat duty anywhere. But I still got the benefit of, I'm a Vietnam era veteran as far as on my DD-214, but I don't have any medical with that. I did get some for my hearing because of the lack of, I have some hearing loss, and I was able to get some disability on that. As far as
Then you should be inquired to Group 3 medical benefits if you got 10% for your tendonitis.
I'm sorry.
I said if you got 10% for your tendonitis, you should be in Group 3, and you should have VA health benefits.
All right.
You just need to sign up.
Okay, I would appreciate that. I'll go talk to my guy. I need to go talk to him about a brick anyway, and about maybe getting some hearing help. So
if you want to get in contact with me afterwards, I can give you some more info.
Perfect. Thank you, Steve.
For me, I'd have to say, as far as the Marine Corps goes, would be the career I have now, and actually, I met Angela in Warner Robins, Georgia, working C5s. She was working C5s there.
Excuse me.
For me, the best thing is just the structure. The worst thing, I think, if I could go back, I would have change the fact that I got out and would have stayed in. Would not have got married at a young age. I thought that, women, that was what women were supposed to do. And I made a mistake. So I wouldn't have done that and had kids as young as I had kids. But, you can't go back and change things. So the best thing is the structure and the teamwork and all of that. And the worst thing is probably the fact that I made some poor choices.
Franny's wanting to know what the most difficult thing was that we all had to do our transition from active duty back to civilian life. And I don't know. For me, it was I had to start buying my own groceries again. So, no, there was. I almost stayed in, and I should have, but that was all hindsight. But when you're 21 and you've been there for a while, you kind of like, I want a break, and I should have stayed. I did well on as far as I ended up being an E4, corporal E4 when I got out. I had time and grade before that for E5, and I didn't go to the promotion board because at the time I was 21. I knew I was getting out, and at the time, all it meant to me was duty every other weekend instead of once a month, as far as at the sergeant, the duty desk. My supervising captain was mad. He let me know that he was just not happy with it because he was a captain in the Marine Corps and he came up through the enlisted ranks. And so he was in with the OCS and worked his way up. So he was a little upset. If I had gone in hindsight, if I knew I was going to stay in, I would have gone to the promotion board, been promoted to E5, and then I could have re-enlisted for E6. And then, that's staff NCO. Once you make staff NCO in the Marine Corps, usually it's pretty good duty. And then I would imagine if I'd have stayed in, I'd at least been a gunnery sergeant or a first sergeant by the time I got out.
Right. Akari is in. Hi, Akari. And he wants to know if we're all Marines. And yes, everybody on the stage is Marines.
For me, it was actually a pretty easy transition. Honestly, I think being in the military helped me as far as civilian life because it taught me to be respectful. It taught me to be professional in everything I do. And honestly, I think that has helped me a lot as far as my career goes, as far as promotions and stuff like that go.
What? No, I'm good.
Okay. What was your rank when you got out?
I was E4.
Yeah, I was E4.
I was E4 as well.
Yeah.
Me also.
We're all corporals.
No. Actually, let me take that back. I was an E6 and I got in trouble and I got busted back to E4.
Okay, there you go.
He lies.
So I made PFC out of boot camp.
Yeah.
I think there was 4 or 5 of us that made rank out of boot camp, so that was helpful. And then when I was in Okinawa, I had I was put up for a meritorious promotion, and I didn't make it. The question, there was a guy that was more into the Marine Corps, and
a lot of times they already know who they want to.
Sergeant Sock. He got promoted before I did. So, but our first sergeant, he was upset with that. So before I left Okinawa, I got a meritorious mass, which is basically a meritorious mass. For those that don't know, is a huge attaboy. If you get one of those, it's a big deal. And so he wrote me that. So as soon as I got back to the States, the day that I got time and grade, for corporal. I didn't even go before the promotion board because of the meritorious mass. I was automatically promoted to Corporal E4. And then I already told you the story about the E5 and stuff. So.
Yeah, I had a meritorious mass, but I don't remember what it was for. I have the certificate in the office in here, but I still don't remember.
At 3. Yeah.
And you only made corporal?
Yeah.
You must have really screwed up.
Told you. I did.
So it was, and a lot of things, I think, for people that they, it depends on where you're at and who you're surrounded by, really has a big thing to do with your promotion opportunity.
I agree.
Well, my opinion is if I hadn't gone to the political squadron that I went to and went out to the fleet and not the political squadron, I probably would have re-enlisted because they're offering a nice chunk of change to re-enlist. And it was there too. And if I had not, and I thought about it, and if I had not blown off the promotion board for the E5, which is, as you know, most times just a formality. If you've got time and grade and you go in and have, it depends on who's the promotion board. Like the one in Okinawa, there was a gung-ho captain that was on there, and he was wanting to, getting in depth on calling in fire missions, and I'm like, and just different stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? It's like, I'm not a radio operator, and I know that you need, we need to know that stuff. That's one thing about the Marine Corps is when you're in a 0300 capacity, at least there's a lot of crossover. So you need to know how to do things. If somebody goes away, right? So I hadn't schooled myself enough on that. And the questions that he was asking was, I knew the answers, but it was not, I didn't present them well. Let's put it that way. So the other dude, which was, he was an 0351 or 0300 grunt. So all he did was, he was a flat top guy, and so he lived and breathed that stuff. And so there was only one promotion available, and he got it. Good for him. And he probably got coached.
He probably did. I was in, and actually at that time I had moved over and was doing in Okinawa, and had started doing the unit diary stuff. And so calling in a fire mission was not at the top of my list at that point. And I just wasn't doing it. Anyway, that if that's neither here nor there, it's like I didn't stay in because I had kind of predetermined earlier. And my big thing was the duty stations. I think there's, a lot of people that go to different places, but it's usually like in the Air Corps or the aircraft part of it. For a grunt, if you're at a 0300 MOS, there's not a lot of duty stations. There's Hawaii and Okinawa and a contingent in Europe and stuff, but there's not a lot of duty stations, so.
There's always the 6-month float.
We were supposed to go on a 6-month float out of Okinawa. It ended up just being like a month and a half. I don't know why they cut it short. Was really looking forward to the float. The whole battalion loaded up. And off we went. It was pretty cool after the first couple of days, but it got cut short. I was pretty bummed about that. I have a bunch of black and whites, and I need to post those somewhere. Some of them are kind of black and yellow. But they're kind of cool. And I looked at the LST that I was on, the USS San Bernardino, and when we were on it, I bought a patch for that, not to sew on anything. It's in one of my photo albums. But it was so I looked here. I think my MOS 0351 was retired in 2018, and then the last the last of the training on that was in 2020. So, and then the USS San Bernardino, it was mothballed, I think, in the 90s. So it all goes away.
Calvin, Jeff from Calvin the Boston Terriers is asking if we all attended the Marine Corps ball. I think, is that ball? Ball.
No.
Yeah.
No,
So every Marine Corps birthday we had, I don't know, is that what he's talking about? I haven't gone to like a formal ball. But every Marine Corps birthday, they had something at the Enlisted Men's Club or the NCO Club or office, depending on what you were able to go to. And that was.
So did you guys get dress blues when you got out of boot camp issued to you?
No.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Jeff just put a super chat in. Thank you so much.
We got blues, but we had to buy our dress jacket.
I was going when I was in school at Courthouse Bay. I was going to go to the Marine Corps ball. A bunch of us were going to go together, and there was a sergeant that was coming to pick us up, and we were coming out of school, and he was picking us up, bring us back to the barracks so that we could get ready for the ball that night. And we didn't realize he had been drinking. And when we got in the car, he had an accident and ran into a pole, and the pole came down, luckily not on top of the car, or we'd all been killed. But needless to say, we never made it to the ball that night. So that was the only time I ever made an attempt to go to the ball. And we all ended up having to go to like an AA kind of meetings for a couple of weeks. But none of us were drinking except for the sergeant that picked us up. We all were just coming out of school. So there was like 3 of us.
Over there at New River, we always had it was a big thing over there in New River with the Marine Corps ball. They had it at the Officers Club. And it was always like a 4-course meal. And you had all the, your forks and spoons and all stuff laid out. And each course you had wine with that. And then after the meal, then they had an open bar. So I know what you're talking about as far as the drinking and stuff goes. But I lived in the barracks the whole time, and it wasn't that far away, so I always just walked there.
Yeah, I did the same. The last Marine Corps birthday that I was in the Marine Corps was at Edson Range. That was my last duty station, was at Edson Range. So Troy, if you went to San Diego, that's where you qualified with your rifle for your rifle qualification. And 2 things about Edson Range that were pretty cool about this particular story was went to the Marine Corps birthday party and at the NCO Club, and they had probably at that time the best macaroni salad that I had ever had. I just loved it. It was great. So I saw it there on the bar or on the food line. Had a bunch of that, and then it's kind of a weird thing because we partied till late, and then I was we had 2-story barracks. I was on the 2nd story. Went up in the barracks, laid down on the bed, and the bed immediately started whipping around, and got up, ran out on the balcony, and I saw the macaroni salad again. And there was a lot of it. And then I finally got to bed. And then when I got up the next morning, I saw the macaroni salad again. So that was my 3-time macaroni salad story. So.
Well, Todd is asking, do you still have any uniforms you saved, and do they still fit?
That's a big negative.
I don't have any of my
negatory. Yeah. So
we moved so many times. It's like we kind of got down to the basics.
Yeah, I don't have anything either.
Yeah. So on the dress blues, we didn't get them out of boot camp.
I didn't either.
And then I didn't want to have any. I didn't want to buy them until I became an NCO because I didn't want to wear them without the bloodline. So, and then I went home I have a picture of me in dress blues. I had a friend that had them. I went home to a friend's wedding, and he let me use his dress blues. They fit well, so I took those. But my buddy, his wife didn't want me. She wanted to stick with her colors, so I had to wear what she had picked out.
We got the blues, which is the trousers and the khaki shirt,
Mhm.
and then once you pick up NCO, then you got to get the blood stripes sewn on.
Mhm.
But as far as the jacket go, I had to buy my own jacket.
And the hat. You had to buy
Rowdy,
the hat too,
The
right?
hat, yeah, we got the hat too.
Rowdy's in the chat. Foothills of Appalachia. Welcome in.
Hey, bud.
I still have my dog tags. Does that count for anything?
I think it does.
I wish
Got
I
his
had my
too.
dog tag.
I have one. I gave one to my daughter. She has the other one in her jewelry box, and then have 2 grandbabies. So later on, she'll give, when they get bigger, she'll give one to one of them and this one to the other one. So,
Oh, that's cool.
but the thing is that I had to be careful with it because back in the day, see, my service number is my social security number. I don't know when they changed that. But when I was in, it was your social security number, which was not a good idea.
Yeah, it was too when I was in.
Okay. So,
And then they give you the red tag to go with it if you're allergic to something. I had a red tag saying I was allergic to penicillin, and then the regular tags.
okay. So what all was on your dog? My dog tag, I can think of it all. So we had, so just so people know what's on the dog tag is when I was in, last name, and my last name is on the top, and then my initials, and then my social security number, which is my service number, my blood type, which is A neg, USMC male, and then your religion. And mine at that time was no preference, but
Well, I think that's what was on mine too, but mine are in the other room, so I'd have to go get them.
Mine, I think, actually had the full first name and last name and social security and blood type on there.
yeah, I just have my full last name and then my first and second initial. And so back in the day, they pressed these in a. I would like to have got one of those machines, but they have a machine. They press them. They key punch everything in, and then they press the tag. Yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did anybody else have questions? Did I miss any questions? If anybody has any other questions for us, put them in the chat. So Todd was asking, did anybody consider doing 20 years?
I considered it, yeah, absolutely. And then I didn't, and then I've always kind of kicked myself in the butt for not doing that because I had the opportunity to reenlist at a good because you could reenlist at that time. If I had gone before the promotion board for sergeant, at that time you could reenlist for a grade and a bonus. Now the grade would not come until you immediately, but it would come when you had time and grade. It was an automatic promotion for that, unless you were like Steve and went and got in bar fights and stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I thought about it myself also until I got the opportunity to work with Raytheon, and then I decided to go ahead and get out at that point.
Huh. What was Fran's question? They said Fran had a good question. Fran asked a good question. What is it? So can you put it in the chat again so I don't have to look it up? I'm trying to find it.
She's not a mod either, I think.
Fran is. I made her mod. I just made her a mod.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Did Fran was the most, what was the most difficult thing for you all transitioning from active duty to civilian life?
We answered that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the camaraderie. You caught it. You lost your family, so to speak.
Yeah.
you did. You didn't have all those people there. You didn't have. You had to, and like I said, I was joking when I said I had to start buying my own groceries, but you did. I mean, you had to start.
Yeah.
It is a lot different.
There's a lot. There's a lot in the military that's laid out for you, and there's food there, and there's medical, and there's all these things that are there that you're. your
You know how to obtain them and where to go to get them.
yeah,
But-
your income was not that high, but if you look at it, in reality, it was not bad based on what you had available to you. If
But
you,
the there was like a brotherhood there, like sisterhood, brotherhood. For me, being a female in there, if I walked outside of my platoon, guys would be hitting on me and stuff. Like if anybody was inappropriate with me and somebody from my platoon was around and heard them, they were like my big brother. They stepped in and shut it down real quick. They didn't play at all. They had my back like 100% of the time. So I kind of missed, my brothers. They were all like brothers to me.
so Todd was asking what was the food like, and actually, when I went to Oakland, it was pretty good for me. I mean, I don't have any. And when I went to when I was stationed at Edson Range, it was great because all the recruits were eating there. They had that's where the recruits had rifle range and KP. So, and I have a story about that too. Is about being at Edson Range, which I'll just share that right quick. But I had a friend, and I can't remember his name right now. I can't pull it out. When I was in high school, when I lived in Shawnee Mission, Kansas, which was just for the 1 year, but when he was a kid, a smaller kid, he got attacked by a dog, and it ripped the top part of his ear off. But we were good friends, and then we moved back to Colorado and stuff. Obviously, we didn't have cell phone or any of that stuff, so we lost contact. So I was sitting in the mess hall at Edson Range, my last year of duty, and when we were on one side, then they had a divider wall, and the recruits were on the other side over there. But when they would get their tray, you could see them walk by, and I just happened to be in there having breakfast, and I looked up, and I saw this recruit walk by, and his ear was tore off. I'm like, I know that dude, and so I went and looked over the petition, and I'm like, that's my bud, man. So by the time you go to the rifle range, I think we're in what, Troy, in phase 2 by then?
Phase 2.
And so it's not like you can just go, you do nothing on your own. So I went to the drill instructor and talked to him for a minute and just asked him, can I talk to him for a minute? He said, yeah, go outside. I'll get his ass out there. So I went outside around to the exit door, and I'm standing out there, and I hear him jump all over this dude's head. Get your ass, And so the dude thinks he's in trouble and takes him outside and said, you got like 3 minutes, So we visited. It was pretty cool. But if the dog hadn't bit his ear off, I never would have known he was in there. But then we lost contact after that too. But yeah.
I actually worked at that chow hall while I was in second phase at the rifle range there.
Yeah.
We had chow hall duty there, and they actually had some pretty good food there.
Some good food there. That's a good chow.
Deb and Parker and Lily. Deb is in. Hi, Deb.
Welcome in, Deb. I can tell you that
Hello,
in
Deb.
Oklahoma, when we were going to the field, though, we were eating C rations from left over from after the Korean conflict. They were old and pretty nasty.
Yeah, we had those out in the field too. They left a lot to be desired.
They did. So we
had the MREs when I was in.
Yeah, we didn't. We were still eating the C rations. They had a 3-pack of 3 or 4-pack of cigarettes in them, and they were all filterless cigarettes, and they were either Pall Mall, Lucky Strike, or Camels. And they smoked really fast because they were so dry. They had a 2-pack of Chiclets gum in there that you had to be very careful not to break your teeth with them. They were so hard. You just kind of sucked on it until it, and yeah. So they were old. The eggs and ham was the nastiest meal in there. there was a lot of bartering going on, I guess you would say.
Yeah. Did you have sea rats?
MREs.
Oh, we had sea rats.
And they were old. I mean, they were left over, because they had made them for quite a while during Korea and after the Korean, and they were heavy. I mean, like you had a full, like if you had a can of beans or something, you would know the size. What is it, 12 ounce? Excuse me. And then you would have a tin with either a cheese or a jelly, and you would have a thing with crackers, a tin with crackers in it, so they didn't get crushed. And then you had the gum, the toilet paper, a little thing of toilet paper, a sea rat opener. Actually, it didn't come with a rat opener. That came in the box. You used to wear the rat opener around here with our dog tags.
Yeah, the John Wayne.
Yep, the little thing. I've still got a couple somewhere.
Yeah, I got some. Yeah.
The sea rats kind of sound like MREs, but in cans instead of packages.
Yes, and then you had these heat tabs that you would heat them up with. So you would take another can, you would keep a can or empty a can. Usually you took your cracker can, you would take your crackers out, poke holes in the side with your sea rat opener, set it down, put your heat tab in there and light it, and then set your other cans on top of that. And it was old style. Yeah. That's where I learned to cook.
I do something.
Yeah. So they had a hard time keeping Tabasco sauce in the mess hall because everybody had one in their backpack. We carried Tabasco sauce and a spork, an extra spork.
Yeah, on your powdered eggs.
Yeah, with the MREs, and I'm sure you guys know, but you always had that little bottle of Tabasco sauce in there. And then usually a lot of times you'd have like the saltine crackers in the pack. And then you'd have your main meal. And then usually you would have some kind of like dessert, like maybe some M&Ms or something in there.
So I think
Chris says Troy still eats MREs.
I've never had one.
I gave up MREs a long time ago.
I have never had one. And I think maybe this Friday I could talk Todd. I know Todd has some. We might do that on our Friday Night Live is actually do an MRE. I think that would be
funny.
Just don't have a high expectations of.
Well, and when I was hunting and packing in and stuff, MREs as far as on the private market were super freaking expensive, and we're just coming into play and stuff. Now they're common. If you're backpacking in an MRE now, I've had took packs of oatmeal and stuff like that, but I have never had an MRE, so that would be something.
Yeah, one of the military MREs, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Todd eat it.
And I'll talk to Todd. I know he has some, and I don't think he's tried them. And we had talked about doing that once before and never got around to it. So that might be good for the Friday Night Live is do. And I know he's got another item too that we're going to try Friday night. So
one thing that the MREs was designed for is to be like really high calorie, and also to where you don't have to use the restroom a lot when you're out in the field. And that's why you really don't want to eat a whole lot of them, is because you can end up with some digestive problems.
Especially if you're not burning up the calories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fran said the vegetarian MREs taste the best. She said that comes from a friend of hers.
I've never had a vegetarian one.
No, I didn't know they made them. Maybe it's civilian ones.
And the ones Todd have are civilian, but that's still okay. It's going to be it's basically the same type, just not going to have the extra stuff in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, and back when I was in Okinawa, I smoked. I was a Marlboro man, but you get out there, we would try to, if you were a smoker, try to smoke those ones that were in that, and they were so dry and no filter. They just, They went pretty quick. Todd said, "Isn't spam an MRE?"
Yeah.
Kinda, and almost,
Yeah,
but
kinda.
it's not. It's not a. To me, an MRE is like adding the hot water and the heat pack and.
Yeah,
and
heat it up.
yep.
You still smoke, Sock?
Oh no, I haven't smoked for years, but
I smoked. I smoked in the military, and I smoked up until 2000, 16 years ago, or what, 26 years ago.
Me and Angela smoked for a long time and quit probably about 5 years ago.
Oh, nice.
it.
Steve,
I have.
don't smoke. You
I
just-
say I haven't smoked and inhaled for a long time, and I've quit the cigars too. But I smoked cigars for a while, but usually when I was out playing golf. But I did the Bill Clinton thing. I didn't inhale those, but
yeah. Yeah.
But I don't smoke the cigars anymore. I've quit there quite a while back. So
Yeah. Well, this has been fun.
it has.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for having Troy.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks,
for
guys.
coming on. And if anybody else has any other ideas, I know this was kind of Todd's idea that he sent to me. And it's fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was fun.
So anybody else has any ideas, throw them out there. I do have something fun coming up in February. End of February on Tuesday. I think it's like the 24th or something. There's a pastor down in Colombia, the one that we go down to help out in missions. He's going to be on my channel. I'm going to be doing an interview with him.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool. He's been a missionary down there for like 25 years or something. So I am asking anybody, please come and support in February on the 24th when I have him on my channel, so that he feels like it was worth his while to be on. So
Cool. We'll be
I
there. You know
love
that.
as much support as I can for him. Barry, drop and give us 50.
Get it, Barry.
All right, you guys. Thank you. Any last words?
I don't have any other than thank you so much, Semper Fi, all my friends.
Semper Fi.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, and yeah, let's go with hoorah.
Hoorah.
Hoorah!
I got that from Todd. Todd is a blessing.
He's awesome.
Yep. So,
All right, you guys. Thank you all for coming into the chat. I appreciate you, every one of you. Thank you for the super chat. And you guys have a blessed week. I'll see you on the YouTube streets.
Have a great night, everyone.
All
See you
right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.